Smart people have panic attacks. And I really think smarter people are more likely to have panic attacks. And I'm going to explain why. So, one of the mechanisms of a panic attack is the inability to self-regulate early on. And so a lot of panic is emotional suppression. It's not necessarily all panic, but this is a mechanism in panic. So we've suppressed to the point in which our physiological system is hyper-aroused, and that hyper-arousal then manifests as a panic attack, and then we form a relationship with that hyper-arousal state in which we also have a lot of fear of that state, right? And so we then wonder, how did we get here? Well, so when someone tends to rely more on their intellectual capacity, they are typically leaning more cognitive. That sort of means that they're kind of like a brain walking around, and that's their experience of life. You just kind of like, you have that expression, like people are very in their head. And so this is the experience of someone that tends to be that cognitive. And so when you're that cognitive, oftentimes what you're doing is you are suppressing your emotional states. And you aren't going around saying like, "Ooh, I'm going to suppress some emotions." It usually means like you say things like, "Oh, I'm going to think about that later," or "I'm going to deal with that later," or like, "Yeah, come on, like that's not a big deal. Like, calm down." Things like that. Those are all kind of signatures of emotional suppression cognitively. And so when you're suppressing emotionally, usually that means that your nervous system is building, but you're not aware of it. Like all those emotions are building. And then when they've built to the point of no return, you kind of have that panic attack. Oftentimes they come at night. And that's because it's actually more difficult to suppress emotions when you're tired. And so a lot of us then have this experience of like, what the heck happened? Why am I panicking? Because we're so good at emotional suppression. Why? Because we've spent our whole lives being really good at the cognitive side. And I'm not saying this is anyone's fault. This is just how it is. And so the way to overcome this is to start detecting those emotions a lot earlier and then learning to process and regulate. And so if you can detect early enough, then you can manage it. It's a lot more manageable if you detect it early. It's sort of like if your house had leaky pipes and you just had like one leaky pipe and it wasn't like that big of a deal, you could fix it maybe by yourself with a YouTube video. But if you just let it build up and build up and build up and all the water pressure builds up in the house and then all the pipes burst, then you would need like a professional to come in, right? And so that's kind of the difference between managing emotions on like a day-to-day level, regulating, processing, doing all that stuff, instead of waiting until they completely build up to that panic attack state, in that your physiological system is so hyper aroused that it honestly just feels like terrifying and you don't even know what to do. And then like you have emotions about the physiological arousal, because typically whenever we get that physiologically aroused, we have a lot of fear. And then what a panic attack is sort of like a looping of that system where it's like, okay, I'm having giant physiological arousal, which means that like panic, like that horrible physical state. And then I have fear about like, what the hell is happening? Am I like what's going on? Am I okay? And so we have a lot of fear, and then that fear builds into the physiological arousal, and so it loops. So if this sounds like you, this can be resolved. It's something that can be fixed. And if you're someone that's like, hey, I'm a smart person, why the hell is this happening to me? It's actually potentially for that reason that you are a smart person.